This is not a video that I thought I would be having to make right now, and I apologize in advance because there is no way that I'm going to be able to talk about any of this without crying. But Slew he's done so much, and I just want to make a video for him where I can say goodbye and just thank him for everything he ever did. On Saturday, August 29th, I woke up to Slew colicking. He was laying down in a stall, and he had obviously been having some trouble for a while because he was covered in scrapes and he just looked terrible. So I got him up, we gave him Banamine, and we called a vet out because you could just tell that he was in a lot of pain. The vet was pretty concerned about what he felt when he did like the rectal and all of that, and just overall Slew did not look great. It was not something that we could give it a little bit of time and it would take care of itself. We decided to try and get Slew to the U of I so that they could hopefully do surgery on him. And unfortunately, we don't live super close to any vet that will do colic surgery. So the U of I is closest, and we're about 3 hours away. So we got there as quick as we possibly could. And I knew when he walked off the trailer that we were probably not going to get good news because he looked horrible and he was shaking so bad. I remember feeling so helpless watching them take him into the clinic so that they could look him over and do like all the tests and stuff on him to see if they would be able to do the surgery on him. By that point, it was just too late. They said that it is very likely that he had ruptured, and when that happens, there's nothing you can do anymore. So they recommended euthanizing him there. That way we didn't take him on a trailer to get him home, which we weren't going to do anyways because he was in so much pain. It wouldn't have been fair to take him on a 3-hour drive just to get him home. So they let us in, and we got to say our goodbyes to him, and then he was put down there and we had him cremated, and we'll be getting his ashes back. Slew, he colicked like once when he was 6 or 7 and he was 20. So we went a long time with no issues, and that's just never ever how I imagined losing him. He's been in my life for 15 years. So since I was a little kid, he's done so much for me. He taught me so much, and I don't know what I'm gonna do without him. It just feels so weird. I just keep hoping that he'll appear in his stall and everything will just be a really bad nightmare, but that's not gonna happen.
Slew came into my life when I was still a pretty beginner rider. He was a 5-year-old thoroughbred that had just come off the track. I didn't have a trainer, so it was a recipe for disaster. One of my first rides on him, I fell off and ended up in the ER and unable to ride, or even walk for that matter, for a few weeks. Thankfully, it got better from there. We did our first show together and surprisingly did pretty well. Proof that a green rider, green horse combo can sometimes work, only if you're willing to learn everything the hard way. I taught him to jump and he taught me how to be quiet, because believe me, if you were in his way and bothering him, he would always let you know. He taught me to seek knowledge, because he demanded that everyone ride him to the best of their ability, and if you didn't, well, he was gonna run away with you. He taught me to fall and to always get back up. I fell off that horse more times than I could ever count. I learned how to be patient because green horses, especially those with green riders, don't transform overnight. I learned to persevere. No matter how impossible it all seems sometimes, if you're determined enough, you'll find a way to reach your goals. It just might take some time. He had this funny way of making sure that I and anyone who rode him stayed in their place. Get a little too full of yourself and he'd make sure you hit the ground. He taught me that there's a very fine line between confidence and cocky, and there have been, on occasion, a few times where I'd feel myself crossing that line and I'd very quickly ground myself before Slew did it for me. Slew taught me so many life lessons. I could go on and on. He was a great teacher, but he was an even better best friend. He knew all of my secrets and gave me a shoulder to cry on whenever I need it. He never ever acted his age. Even when he was 20, he'd still act like he was 2. He loved to run and have fun, and he would always make me smile with his shenanigans. Well, almost always. As long as he hadn't run away from me and gone gallivanting around the property, or even once the showgrounds, then we were good. Unfortunately, he did go for a good run around the property on more than a handful of occasions. There was one time he ended up in a busy road, still tacked up, and another time that he had gotten loose right before a storm and refused to let me catch him. We ended up having to call a neighbor to help us out. Slew walked right up to her immediately. Sometimes I think he'd just like to taunt me.
He never shuts his mouth all the way. I don't think his body was made right. His lips aren't big enough.
Yeah, his mouth, he doesn't close his mouth all the way.
Hi, buddy.
Over the years, he got very accustomed to being spoiled, and he learned to expect to be treated like a king. It was Slew's world, and we were all just living in it. He had the biggest heart and tried so hard for me, so he absolutely deserved to be as spoiled as he was. He knew that we were his people and he was our horse, and that he would never go anywhere. Slew did everything in the world for me, and then he did it all again for the riders I taught. He made sure they all stayed in their place at home, but he was always there for them in the show ring. He gave them great experiences and almost always won. He was a once-in-a-lifetime horse, and although I love all of my horses so much, nothing will ever come close to the love I have for Slew. He was truly the greatest.
He's using me as a headrest. I hate when he does this because his head is so heavy. Silly.
I'm so thankful that he was my teacher and best friend for the past 15 years. Our partnership was unconventional and not one that would often succeed, but he was my horse, and we made it work.
Definitely going to be an adjustment for me figuring out how to be without Slew, because he's been in my life for the past 15 years and I just always assumed that he would just be here until he was like 30 and his body just couldn't do it anymore. He was just always the horse that no matter what, I could always say that he would never go anywhere. Like, he had earned his place here and we owed it to him to just always make sure he had everything he needed. And so he was never gonna go anywhere, and now it's hard to wrap my head around the fact that he's gone. I'm just trying to be thankful for, I mean, I am thankful, I'm not trying to be thankful for the time that I did get with him, but I'm just trying to focus on that and just be happy that I even got the 15 years with him, because that is a pretty long time. And with horses the way they are, it's kind of hard to keep them alive that long because they're just so problematic a lot of the time. I'm trying to just work as hard as I can with the horses that are still here and just be thankful that I have them, and just try and like get back on track and be more consistent with the horses and just be like successful. That way everything that Slew taught me and everything that we went through isn't for nothing. I feel like the only way that I could ever repay Slew for everything that he did for me and for the riders that learned on him when I started teaching is to just keep going with this and do my best and just make this work and not ever quit riding. I'm gonna keep learning, I'm gonna keep riding, and I'm gonna keep trying to be a better horseman for all of the horses that are still here, and I'm gonna do it all for Slew. So that sounds so cheesy, but that's honestly the truth. So if you guys watch this till the end, thank you for watching. This is probably gonna be horrible to watch because I pretty much cried the entire time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video that will hopefully have a happier topic.